can have the tablet.
No,
Oh, you got enough paper there?
yeah, I never write shit down. I just like scribble.
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
I don't know how he does it. He knew you were here.
I don't, he's got a foresight that just unparalleled
All the way in Colorado.
all the way. That he's here now. He's standing right over there at the microphone saying
He's
that.
here with us in spirit.
He is. I wonder what happened to him. He came in, blew in, and he blew out of town.
Yeah. Let's hope he comes back to the Big E.
Very sad day today.
Yes. The sad thing was, hold on my thoughts for another day, but nobody knew about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I think it would have been nice for council to be notified.
not only that, but it's,
I came in from out of town, my mother's telling me something's on national news, I don't even know what it's about,
it was a national story.
Yeah, she called me at first, she said she's watching one of those, like,
Right,
those national, like CNN, NBC,
Yeah.
Fox, one of those,
right.
and she goes, it was in the bottom on a creeper,
World, really, wow.
You would think that something that tragic, that we would have got a call, at least a courtesy call,
Yeah,
or a
right.
text,
Right.
telling us that, hey,
we'll go into it, I'll tell you some things.
I can tell you this, I was through one when I was a young man,
Yeah,
happened next door to me, and
yeah.
it's something you never forget.
Oh, I'm sure. We got a caller that's already called and waiting, so.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Kaz there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, that's good. Hey, Kaz, or Johnny, did you happen to watch that school board meeting the other day?
I did catch some of it, yeah, pretty entertaining.
Think about the decorum, so to speak.
What happened on that meeting?
One of the solicitors.
Oh.
Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, no. That part I understand. I'm talking about the decorum. I want to ask Kaz this because he was a member of the school board at one time, and I believe you were city council president at one time running the meetings.
Right.
A lot of yip and yap and clapping from the crowd, the peanut gallery. Is that proper at these meetings like that?
No, absolutely not. In fact, the president of our council, Mr. Winarski, he has periodically, quieted them down. I did in my time because, it's a public meeting. It's an exchange of ideas. It's not a rally. And I think when you do that, it starts turning into anything but a meeting. When you're up there as a citizen, you're supposed to be addressing the government body on an issue that comes before them. And, we give you the respect of keeping quiet and listening to you. That's why we don't, some people get mad, we don't engage in debate, but, it's your time to talk to us. And then, if you want to address us, we'll meet you on the side somewhere, away from the cameras. Not that we're afraid to hide some, but, it's a meeting.
Yeah.
Totally out of control with them. Maybe when John gets in there, maybe he can put a little hammer down to that. But
Well, we didn't, when I was there, we had a few instances where things got out of hand, and the president would, I tell you what we did. We actually adjourned a meeting once. The president said this meeting will be temporarily adjourned, and just inform everybody out there the cameras are being turned off, and that was, showtime went out the window.
Yeah.
So they were informed that, the school board was going in the back room for about a 5-minute recess. The cameras were going to be shut down, and if there was any more problems, security was going to take care of it.
that sounds good to me. John Harkins tried that. He tried to...
Yeah, John was there when I was there. He knows how...
Oh, yeah, he's been there forever. But
Yep.
he tried to do a little order in the court there, and the attorney for the Rise leadership, or the Rise school there, he got up there and got in his face.
Yeah, well, then you start clearing out. I mean, you hate to do it, but...
That's probably what you would have done, or maybe Mr. Steiner will be doing once he gets in there. But I want to touch on this fire that was just recently had in the city here. I did a little research. I know I'm not an attorney, although I do play one on TV.
I like that line. Where you got that from? Where'd you get that from? Mark Guy Finley or?
Yeah, I think Mark Guy might have
He
been.
used to use that line. I love it though.
But anyways, about these smoke detectors.
Yeah.
From what I understand, these and they're popping up all over the place in the city. These whatever they may be, they're child care centers. You have tractor trailer terminals around the city, on the street. You know, they'll just park their tractor trailer on a residential street. You got the bottle clubs popping up. In other words, these people can pop anything up anywhere they want to in the city, and apparently nothing gets done about it. But regarding this this particular fire and this particular, I believe that they are guided and ruled by the state.
Well, we had I got to be fair with you. I just came in from out of town. I had no advance notice from the administration. I found out about it through my mother and watched the news, but I did some research today with some people that I trust that have had experience, and the way it explained to me was, yes, the state inspected them. I got to be careful what I say because this will probably end up in...
It was in a paper they were inspected December 28th.
Right, I mean, but it's probably going to end up in a court of law, so...
Yeah, I understand, but...
And what I heard was that the state has their own set of rules. They inspected it.
Yes, they do. I looked it up. It's Rule 55 under, I can't remember the name of it, under the state code.
Right, and they don't necessarily inform the municipality that there is a daycare that exists there.
Right.
Here's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I looked at the code. It's Title 55.
A state, you mean?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
state, Title 55. You look
Right.
it up. You know, there's all kinds of titles. There's Title 18, Crimes
Right.
Code. There's the Vehicle Code. You know, there's all kinds of codes. This is Title 55, but that governs this. And from what I understand, from what I read, there is a fire section on that in that code under that Title 55 for these child care centers. And I read them all, and there's only 4 of them. Four specific sections. None of them deal with smoke detectors.
Yeah, that's what I was told, and it's
So what I'm thinking is they underwent this inspection in December,
right.
and they passed with flying colors because there is no smoke detector criteria in that law.
Right.
My question to you would be: is there any? And I checked this out too, and I couldn't find anything in the city ordinance requiring a smoke detector for a child care center. Now, and if that's the case, I'll bet you Mirsky's licking his chops right now because these guys are probably going to be scrambling to produce a law to add into that section that's going to require smoke detectors. Now, I could be wrong, but I checked it and I could not find anything in that law under Title 55 that requires a smoke detector. There's stuff about escape routes, and there's stuff in there about.
Well, I think the chief said that on TV. That
What's that?
I don't want to quote the fire chief, but I think he made that comment. Somebody did on TV.
You know,
that they weren't required to have a smoke detector.
You weren't?
No, they weren't, and they do not notify the city.
Okay, well, I didn't see that at all.
And that was on. I'm trying to think what channel I watched, but
I did this research on my own, and from what I understand, I'll be willing to bet you Mirsky's licking his chops right now.
well, I think I thought my wife said. I'm not going to quote my wife either, but somebody, either my wife or somebody, told me Senator Laughlin is not too happy either.
but he just
He's licking his chops in too. See,
Yeah.
they're all reactive instead of proactive.
Well, here's the problem.
Exactly.
And I'll be in defense of them a little bit. There are so many laws out there that everybody assumes things, and until something happens, and then you find out, how in the hell could they have something like this happen?
well, you can't.
And like for instance, we're tougher in the city on rental apartments.
Oh yeah, I know that. That
And,
was my
you know,
complaint. For the landlords, they were right on that one. But
And I think we do have one. I don't want to quote you. I'm going to have to check the ordinance myself. But I thought I was told that there is an ordinance for a number of, if you have a number of kids in a daycare, I think there is an ordinance that does cover it in the city.
did he? Okay,
But,
I'm not gonna.
but if we're not notified, there's no way we know about it,
Okay, well I checked.
Because I think what happened was there was a law, I don't want to cut you off. There was a law that happened, there was a cutoff date. And I think she fell into the date before our ordinance took effect. So she was never required to do anything. And she was grandfathered like under the state. I don't wanna say anything because that's gonna, like I say,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of people looking into all these nuances. But the problem is, yes, looking forward, if this is a hole in the system, we better fix it.
Well, I couldn't find anything in the city ordinance that
What-
would cover smoke detectors for this particular.
So that's, you won't, because that, like I mean, you're absolutely right. It's part of the, State Department of Human Services, the DHS, that, these, child care
How could they
services-
let that,
How do you not have a fire, smoke detectors under your, or under what, things you need to have to operate, an in-home daycare center blows my mind, but,
I'm gonna check on a report,
Yeah.
but I heard our ordinance is so restrictive that if we find out about it, that it actually goes through,
no, I know our city guy is like, you
it
know,
goes through a lot of, there's a lot of things you have to have if you have a daycare.
they're anal about all the smoke detectors and everything, so I know our guys are really
I
vigilant.
think there's
about
one
it.
in there about a fire extinguisher and everything.
Oh yeah, our guys are like very vigilant on it, so really this, you can't throw this one on the city. This is kind of a state situation, but you know, you say Bob Mursky, but hell, he just.
Oh yeah, he'll be the first one out there, boy.
Yeah, he just signed up, so, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean-
it's not any of his doing.
The nice thing about Bob Mursky is he brings to the state, the aspect that he was a local government official.
You know,
And like third-class cities are treated like crap in this state.
yeah,
You know, you got Pittsburgh and Philly, you know, they got all kinds of stuff, but the third-class cities, and, you know, we have a lot of population in them. Most of them are around 100,000, and we got issues that townships and boroughs don't have as much.
I mean, I just,
We're gonna have to, you know, there's gonna have to be a change in how the state looks at us, and,
I was just reading right before we went on the air about, Lachlan's gonna, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, let these kids, you know, I mean, let it sit for a minute, you know
well,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But afterwards, I think we
Jump
need
on
to,
everything politically.
no, we need to look at it afterwards.
Oh,
There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely needs, but let the bone, you know, let it rest for a minute.
Well, yeah, I think so too. I mean,
I don't want to pull an Alicia on you here, so I'm going to hang up.
All right.
hey, but that's okay. But hey, you got some good comments. I'm glad you did the research. I will try to find out a little bit more about our ordinance and how it goes into effect.
Uh-huh.
But I am sure we covered daycare somewhere.
Okay, I couldn't find it. I'm not saying it doesn't
Yeah, that's a
exist.
state gig. That's
Yeah,
not a
you
city.
got to look in the city ordinances under.
You guys have
Oh yeah, I got all those. I have all the laws. I
Yeah,
got them all in
yeah.
my-
Take a look, and you know, you can always call me at home too if you want. I'm in the phone book.
Oh, I email you, but you don't answer my email, so.
Which one do you mail it to?
The one at the city.
I,
Your city email. I don't remember what it is.
why don't I get yours? I always. Can you call me off the air and tell me what your name is? Maybe it's going into the.
Junk mail, like, you know, all my stuff goes in there.
Well, no, some of them they screen. Give me yours and I'll find out what the hell's going on. Okay?
All right.
You got my phone number?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Give me a call after. Give me a couple hours to get home. Give me a call. I'm curious as to why. You know, I usually answer everybody.
Yeah, okay. I know it's no big deal. I just,
Well, no, it is to me. I hate to have you. You got some good ideas. You know, we'll have to have you on the show sometime too.
no, you don't want me on the show.
Why, you and John, you'd be good.
No, put Stemco back on there.
Well, there's some people who weren't happy, but
Yeah.
All right, hey, have a good one.
you too.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you know, the trouble when you have events, everybody's like trying to get political gain off it.
Yeah, well, that's,
But
it's already
yeah,
happening.
you know, bury the kids first. You
Yeah.
know, let the family calm down. This
Yeah.
is terrible.
I mean, it's,
This is terrible.
but it's not the city. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Oh, hi, Kev.
Hey,
No, I've been wondering about this revitalization. I've been hearing about this revitalization since 1960s, Julio. And I'm just wondering if it's just become a catchphrase.
you mean the revitalization of the city?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say. It's too early to tell. There are some things that are different from the Tullio era.
Yeah, but we've been hearing about the same stuff since the 60s.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I go back to the giant, what I call the pre-Vietnam, when we had that big project where they tore down all the city. Do you remember that?
I remember the Transitway Mall.
Well, before that, how old are you? Are you about 60 or older?
6.
Pardon?
I'm 66.
You should remember this then. Do you remember back I was in high school, you probably would have been in middle school or close to high school. Do you remember when they tore down a lot of downtown?
Yeah, I remember when City Hall went and the Lawrence Hotel, yeah.
Yep, well, about that time, there was a lot of government money. That's what it was, government money. And they tore down the city and they had all these, you can still find, I got a copy at home of what they wanted to do, the drawings, the conceptual drawings. And some of it happened, a lot of it didn't. Well, Vietnam come around, the government dropped all the social money. The money went into the war effort. That's just a reality. And here we go again. Yes, we went through with the Transitway Mall. And if you look at the original plan, they had a mini mall envisioned near the Boston store, not a whole street. Well, then they developed the Minnesota plan, the Nicolay Mall out of Minneapolis. That didn't work in Erie. And you're right, they went through one after another. The thing that's different this time, I think, and nobody said it's going to be, look, this is probably a long project. I'm going to guess 10 to 20 years. That's my prediction. To do everything that Buki wants and everything everybody else wants. The thing that's a little different this time is you have some private investors that are actually putting their own money into it. And you can get mad at them, and what's that group called? The one with Sean Pershing. EDD. You can get mad at them, but that's private money. The city is doing their part in the state with federal funds and state funds.
Here's the thing.
But will it happen? I can't tell you, sir. I would, it's going to take about 10 to 20 years of hard work to do it.
But here's the thing, I avoid the downtown like the plague.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I was roped into going downtown. One of my kids had to go, insist on going to the branch bank down there in North Park Row, right?
Right.
Well, he goes in there. I'm parked on the street, and on the way down State Street, about 12th Street, on the way down, see nothing but people talking to themselves, arguing with people who aren't there,
Yeah.
who look like they're dressed for a snowstorm, and then I get down there, I park around North Park Row there, same thing, and then on the way back up on the other side of State Street, same deal, people talking to themselves, arguing loudly, looking like they're dressed for a snowstorm. I mean, come on. And then you go 1 or 2 blocks east or west of State Street, and everything's run down and old.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that downtown is like Oz. You just look behind the curtain or go a few steps, and it's like it always has been.
Well, am I saying the right word?
EDDC.
The EDDC recently bought some properties on North Park Road. And their plan is to, clean up the neighborhood. There's some ordinances that city council is going to do about, they're going to be tough to enforce, but I think once you put them on place, society will take care of the rest. No smoking and no drinking.
Well, can I say something here?
Yeah.
Years ago, someone on the local news, they were complaining about people drinking in Perry Square, right?
Right.
Someone on city council said the police can't do anything because they have to pass a resolution.
Yeah, and we're doing that. In fact,
What's taking so long?
well, the problem was when we first proposed it, a couple council members were not happy with it. They thought we were picking on certain people, and I think we got that out of the way, and it's ready to be. Part of it is going to be, I think, coming up shortly, and the other part will be hopefully before the end of the year. We'll have both in place. They're well supported by the way, Gannon, Erie Insurance, businesses around there. The general public is in agreement. I mean, this is not being mean. I just come back from Chicago about a year ago, and I actually walked through their park. I didn't feel intimidated. My grandkids could use the playground. I could sit on a park bench without being, monkeyed around with or approached. The park was clean.
or drive downtown, all you see is crazy people and
Yeah, and I think here's the problem we got. Every time, and they call it, that term gets tossed out, gentrification. Every time you hear Gannon and different places wanting to clean up their neighborhood, you hear, well, they're kicking out the people. Well, way back, and I don't know why it happened, somehow the city of Erie back then warehoused all the people that had needs and were under economic guidelines. They warehoused them downtown.
where are they going to warehouse them now?
And well, they're still there, and that should never have happened, you know.
I mean, the city mission,
Yeah,
being down here, a lot of the mental health associations are down here, and currently a lot of our, high-rise buildings, you know, you have the low-income people, some with mental health issues, some with drug and alcohol issues.
And they're going to stay down there.
well, that's what they're, you know, they're trying to, you know, find other places to move the people that are, you know, instead of warehousing them in an old building that, you know.
Well, a new building for them, but they still act the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a catch-22.
Well, you watch what happens. This is why I say it's a 10 to 20-year project.
Yeah.
And how we approach it is gonna determine what's gonna happen to the city. If we do not have the political courage to make changes, that it's, you know,
It's what's going on now is a lot of these guys are actually putting their money together because they want Erie to transform, where we need people downtown with, you know, disposable income and money to spend, and just like a renaissance for the downtown area. But you also have,
They got a ways to go because I don't go down there unless I absolutely have
well,
to.
you're right, you know.
well, I mean, you're right.
And you're a prime example. You know, you come down and, I used to work the parking ramp way back when I was a young man, and people would come there and they were intimidated, you know, and you hear the stories today about, my wife and I went to the theater. We tried to walk down to one of the local breweries or you know, to have a meal or something, and along the way, they got hit 4 or 5 times.
I mean, it's a tough
And
situation.
and you get no, I mean, I can tell you this, the downtown improvement district's not happy with it. I think there's, you know, as these things approach council, I'm perfectly willing to make the changes that are necessary, because I think, you have to have some kind of order, you know, if you're gonna change, you know, they call this the poorest section in the country.
16501.
Yeah, and that should not come as a surprise, though.
I mean, your downtown, I mean, he's right. You know, your downtown needs to be a combination of, you know, the affluent, and then you have the need, you know, you're gonna have some.
But there needs to be
needy.
rules, you can't, you know.
Yeah.
And Perry Square is going to have to be sold to either Erie Insurance, Hammond, or Gannon, so they can put their own private security in there, because it seems to me that the police are afraid to do anything.
Well, they're overwhelmed with other problems.
Yeah.
I think you gotta, here's a good idea, and I approached the police chief about this. In Allentown, PA, we were at a convention, and it was, Mr. Mursky and I, we were at the League of Cities. That's where all the government officials meet once a year, different towns. And they showed us around Allentown. Now, they'd just done a giant renovation. They had people on bicycles, not police officers. Volunteers are on bicycles with police radios, and they were taught what to look for. And so they just drove around the city. On certain event nights, they had people sitting in chairs with orange vests. Kind of like if you walked up and said, where can I park my car? They could tell you.
It's kind of like what we have right there, sitting in the lobby.
Yeah, there's a prime example. And they did that around the city. And what happened is you didn't see what we see in our downtown. And, you know, in Chicago, they had volunteers in the park. They probably had kids that were being paid during the summer, and that's okay. You know, pay some of these kids in the summer to walk around, not to be confrontational, but to look for problems and then call the police. I think that would solve a lot of it. What do you think?
And the police show up the next day.
Well, that has to stop. You know, if you're gonna be sincere, and maybe you're right about this. Maybe the downtown improvement district has to hire off-duty policemen, or we need to, you know, work with, Gannon has a police force.
Oh, and so does Erie Insurance has their own security.
Yeah, but Gannon has a better one. Gannon actually has the right, people don't know this. Gannon can issue a parking ticket to you and a speeding violation on campus grounds. They have full police powers because they have a memorandum of understanding with the city. I don't think Erie Insurance does.
Well, I probably not, but still,
But no, but if you have that, you know, like if you can work out a system between Erie Insurance and Gannon helping our police department, you know, I think it'll go a long way. You're right, you have a very good idea. It's gonna take probably extra police officers. And I think for most businesses, if they have to pay a few bucks to have extra security going downtown and keeping the area clean and safe,
Well, they do for the downtown improvement district, each business has to pay so much.
yeah, and I think if they raise it a little bit and hire policemen, off duty or whatever, I think it would go a long way to, you know, other towns do it.
I agree. Well, thanks for calling.
right, thank you.
But he has a good idea. I mean, he's absolutely right. If you're not gonna go all the way, it's not gonna work.
You know, you need a balance between, you know, cause we wanna help people.
Yeah.
We don't wanna turn people
But you
away.
can't turn the downtown into,
No.
I mean, people come here and they, you know, first, I've talked to businessmen that wanna invest here. They won't do it.
Well, if you looked at, we're the poor, who wants to invest, you can't, we're a bad investment.
Yeah, we
For
are.
now. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, guys.
All right.
We allowed to comment on that fire at all?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I can only tell you what I know and,
I was shocked to hear that this house had one smoke detector.
yeah, we were too, and we were told one gentleman called up. Were you listening to the show? Were you listening earlier or not?
I just got home.
Oh, one gentleman called up and he actually went on the state, website and found out that, see, the city didn't inspect that. That was under the state rule, and the state has no requirements, he said. And the chief said this on TV, I do believe you heard it too?
I didn't hear it, no.
But they said that, there's no requirement under state law to have one.
Yeah, so the city, I mean, it's, for a daycare, they have to report to the state. So the State Department of Human Services does all the, you know, checking
But I
and
think
the
that's-
licensing or whatever.
Like, we now have a rule that if they do business in the city,
Yeah.
they now are told they have to come to us, but
Well, you
the
guys
ones
are gonna
that were
have
under the old law, they, you know, we don't know where they are.
This will give you guys something to do.
Yeah. But, go ahead, sir, it's your,
What are your thoughts?
hello? Can you call back? We'd, like your comments. Yeah, please call back.
Yeah, call back.
But yeah, it's a shame when you find out that, you know, if that's the case, something's wrong.
I mean, it's kind of surprising that smoke detectors isn't on the thing to-do list.
You think that's number one?
You know, I was sad.
Hopefully it is that gentleman.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I got disconnected somehow.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
we were trying to get back to you. Go ahead.
Okay, you know, I have a one-floor house,
Yeah.
and I have 4 smoke detectors in my house.
God bless you. That's pretty good.
Know this very well. And I just can't believe that whoever owned that property should know better. And the state don't have to tell them. The city don't have to tell them. She's running some kind of business out of that house, a daycare center, and she don't have enough brains to put these smoke detectors in that building.
And you know, here's a good one. The fire department actually, I think at least once a year, hands them out for free.
That's true.
I mean, they've offered it. They don't ask you how much you make. They don't really care. You know, if you need a smoke alarm, you know. And I'm sure knowing some of these firemen, they'll get you one. If you really need one, they'll find one for you.
I mean, what happens is a lot of times people will have them and then they'll be cooking or something, and then it'll set them off.
Yeah.
So in order to shut them off, sometimes you gotta take the battery out of the darn thing, and then they just sit there, and
Yeah.
then you forget to put them back up, or
But this
they get to
gentleman-
be annoying, but he's right, yeah,
You know, if you run a business, you have, you know, you probably
Yeah.
should.
for sure.
Go ahead, sir. We don't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying, this lady who runs that business, that lady should have enough brains. She has little kids in that building, and she had a smoke detector in the attic.
Yeah, I wonder who told her that one. I mean,
Of the that's the worst place to have it.
well, yeah, I mean, they usually tell you, well, now, most places, well, like, we have a rule, one in every bedroom, you know, for rentals and stuff. You know, because you wanna be notified. You know, you have one on the main floor, like this gentleman has, what, you said 4?
4 of them, yeah.
You know, it's a good idea to have one in every bedroom, because, you know, first, the one on the first floor, like, say you do have a kitchen fire.
Yeah.
Or you have one, it's not even bad to have one in the basement, because you got possibility of combustion down there.
But it's a state gig, because you know, the city guys, they get very, they're very tight. Our fire inspectors are known to be tight when it comes to that kind of stuff, and they don't play around, so.
No, I mean, this is bad, I mean, wow, I mean,
Yeah, I was listening to the scanner. I have, you know, actually, I brought it up on my phone, and just, you could tell by, you know, when they said there's 5 kids in the structure, I mean, you could just tell that this was, and then when they, what they did was, you know, they had to call in, other fire companies from volunteers around Mill Creek, and while this was going on, we had two other, there was a fire up on 24th, and then
Yeah.
the alarms were going off at Erie Insurance for a fire, so we had 3 different fire situations going on, and they're calling, you know, they call Hammond saying, listen, we're bringing this, and, then when I heard they were calling, crisis services to the scene.
that's usually trouble, right?
That right there was like, oh man, I mean, you could just tell by their voices of the fire, you know, and this was not a good scene, but, you know, all our guys, I mean, they handled it really well, and man, I mean, it just sucks.
We have a very good fire department in the city of Erie.
Well, I was told, if the news was right, they said, they believe they were there in 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, you could tell that, you know, there's possible 5 children in the structure.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just tell that more, you know, we gotta get there fast.
But 2 minutes is not, I'm guessing they probably rolled the one out from downtown, you know.
Yeah.
And the
Well, you
one
gotta
out
figure
by,
the 12th.
the one out, yeah,
12th Street, and then you have the one out by Harding.
Right.
I mean, they called, Westwood, they called them all, Fairview and everything was called, and the guy, 3 of his kids.
yeah. But there's a
There's a
plan always
volunteer
that,
guy.
the chief told us there's a plan that when we get hit with a major, they come into our firehouses and they set up in our
They-
shop.
They
Yeah.
were calling a guy, Joe Crotty's his name, he runs the Lawrence Park Fire Department, Mr. Jones is his last name. They were calling them, cause I remember this, they were
Yeah.
calling them to the scene, and he was one of them.
Yeah,
And they ended up rerouting them to, I think they're the ones that came, cause there was a fire alarm going off at Erie Insurance.
so they got rerouted.
Yeah, could you imagine being called to a fire where your kids are in there?
No,
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller, sorry to interrupt you.
Told me it was the state inspectors. The state should change their way of doing things too then.
well, I think you're gonna see that now, 'cause
Oh, boy, they're already, I was just reading, I was reading before the show started that Lachlan's already jumping on it.
well, this made national news, and the state's gonna have, you know, the
Yep.
state's gonna look really bad.
It does look kinda bad.
Last night at 5:30.
Pardon?
Hey, you know, I seen it on CNN last night at 5:30.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got national crews here now. I'm sure it'll be on Lester Holt and everything
Oh,
else.
they got the whole street cordoned off.
And you know, when this makes national news and they go, you don't have a rule
Yeah,
in
this-
Pennsylvania? You watch how fast they fast track this one.
It'll be the governor's fault, it'll be Hillary's fault, you know how to.
Yeah, but you know what? The problem is, you know, after they, you know, give some respect to the family.
Yeah,
Detective here or there.
yeah. It's sad.
And then get the damn thing done. You know?
I was stunned when I heard that, but maybe there's I don't know. I mean, what possible sensible reason? could
I'm
be
gonna
that?
call Senator, I'm gonna call Senator
Don't
Laughlin.
waste your time. He's already on it, I was just.
No, but I'm gonna ask them, make sure besides requesting smoke alarm, make sure you put in there that you must notify the municipality of where these locations are.
Where these child's,
Because we have stricter rules than the state does.
yeah, but then sometimes you got people just setting up shop and it's just like a babysitting service.
But you know, all we can do is we can, like this one was in the legal radar.
Yeah,
You know, if it's illegal, there's not much you can do.
right.
You try to find it, but this one's one that fell through the cracks.
You guys, I mean, city council, you guys are gonna have to get on this one.
I don't think there'll be any doubt what'll happen.
No, yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Still there?
Okay, guys, I'll hang it up.
Hey,
Thanks.
thanks for calling. I can tell you, I can't speak for council, but
Yeah, this
I
is,
know they're all good people. If they bring us something, we'll pass it.
something's gotta be done. But just wait, and then let the smoke.
Well, I agree with you.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Was this a foster home or was it a daycare?
They called it a 24/7. I talked to a couple of people that were familiar with the situation. It was a daycare, but it was a license as a 24/7 by the Commonwealth, which meant that daycares, they have like a beginning and ending time during the day.
Yeah, that's what has me confused.
And then this one was an authorized 24/7. And then there are rules, like in the city, we have rules as to like 0 to 6 or 7 to 12, you know, things that have to be done if we know about it. But this one was a state one that fell in and grandfathered under an old thing. The city wasn't aware of it. And so, you know,
I think we need a lot more details.
You know, that's where that thing always seems to get me, where this is how it was done in the past.
yeah. Well, I think, John, to be fair, like John just said now, this John, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out.
Oh, sure.
And council hasn't really been, we weren't even notified of the accident last night. We didn't even get the courtesy of a call. We found out the same way everybody else did. It would have been nice to have a call because this is not a everyday event.
No, when you make national news, you know, it's
Yeah.
the big spotlights on that little burg up in northwest Pennsylvania that's not complying with the rules for everybody else.
Well, you watch how fast the legislature works now because
It's unfortunate that,
it takes this.
Legislator would work fast if they had a bulldozer shoving them.
I was watching, CNN on early Saturday morning, and they had the guy, it was a Friday or Saturday, the guy from the Billionaire Show,
Yeah.
Stearns, he was on CNN, and they were talking about Erie. And Erie's been starting to get a lot of positive publicity, a lot of good things happening, and then we have this happen.
Now we're going the other way again.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I'll
like,
tell you this,
man.
I don't think the billionaire, the first episode,
Yeah,
I looked at it two ways.
okay,
The one way was it showed the great people of Erie.
yeah,
And I joked with Ronnie DeVecchio. I called him Ronnie DeVecchio or whatever. They spelled his name wrong.
yeah,
I saw Ronnie, Larry, you know, from Larry Central Market.
yeah,
The other people, it showed the nice people of Erie.
right,
That's the good part.
yeah.
But we were forced to look at that
12th Street.
Wall Street
disaster.
building, the whole
Look,
show.
Here, let me tell you how,
And that does not play well.
Kaz, I'm telling you right now, that's one of the reasons why they picked this place. Because you need that type of, oh my God, look how bad this is. It's so traumatic.
And now you
so
got this.
bad.
And now you got this.
Yeah,
And they're gonna start, people are gonna start wondering,
yeah.
what shape is your property?
When they came and did the Strong Vincent story, remember when Shannon Pulliam and the
Yeah.
kids? What'd they show? The 12th Street corridor disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good television. I hate to say it, but it's so
Yeah.
bad over there that it's good television.
But we better get a wake-up call, you know?
I mean, those buildings, well, actually, we might want to leave them there because nobody will
Oh,
come.
the next one's going to happen, don't you?
Where?
Next bad fire in these high-rise apartments down there for senior citizens. Those doors are not fireproofed. And how can the fire inspector from the city of Erie pass them as being fireproof?
I'm not aware of that, but obviously you got some intel.
I mean, the housing authority, they got to be on top of that.
Well, I don't know who owns Richford. That's a private entity.
Oh, is it?
Well, I'm talking about like the senior citizen center on up to the French Street or wherever it's at, where they're having trouble with their parking by the ballpark and all that. Most of these buildings, even across the street, the Highmark building and all
Mid-City.
those doors are not fireproof.
I think those are housing authority buildings, I thought.
Housing authority, yeah.
You're talking about the high-rise behind the Taco Bell?
Yeah, that one, and even the high rises downstairs. Are your doors fireproof in that city hall?
That's a good question.
See, I could tell you a lot, but I don't want to rock the boat.
Well, maybe now's the time when it takes a tragedy to wake people up.
Well, sure. And
Yeah.
you were talking about panhandlers and whatever
Yeah.
going on in the 60s.
Yeah, but, the difference is it's gone to another level, John.
No, it wasn't.
You don't think so?
No, because I used to go up and down when I used to work there, and the panhandlers would come up to me, and I'd tell them, "What are you doing? This is my side of the street."
Yeah, but now you got besides the panhandlers are the smallest of the problem.
Yeah,
But
well, I'm
now you got, people shooting up and,
corridors of Busy Bee, the Wonder Bar,
yeah, but now you got people shooting up though.
the Lucas.
Did you have people shooting up that much in the 60s? I don't remember it.
Well, they were shooting up, but not out in the open.
No, that's the problem. Now you got them.
Smoking the hippie lettuce.
Yeah, now hippie lettuce is one thing, but
Yeah, right.
I mean, when you saw hypos in that old bandstand we had in the middle of the park, they tore down.
Yeah,
That got to be people walk through there.
right.
You know who you
Wasn't
blame that
pleasant.
on, don't you?
Uh,
And guys that sit up there and the police enforcement. But you can't be all over.
no, but in my dad's day, and you remember that. We talked about it.
I remember your dad and your uncle.
They go down with the nightstick and wrap a couple on the feet and clear the park, right?
Yeah.
That was the way. I mean, we always look. I remember my dad telling me years ago. We'd ride down the street and he'd go, "There's so and so," and they knew exactly. But they had things under control. They kept it like organized, out of sight.
And they kept them moving.
Yeah, and
Well, people had respect back then.
Remember Big Croto?
yeah,
Yeah, he was always on the ball, but he played a different game, and I won't tell you on the air what he
but he was a big guy though.
Yes, he sure was. Then you had the Virgas.
Yeah, it was a different time, and the cops tell me today they can't do it, but maybe we need to change the rules.
They can squeeze them a little bit. They can't do what the old guys did.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, I went to Chicago, John. Imagine being able to use a bench there. Now, how do they do it in a town as big as Chicago?
Well, they stay out of the south side.
Yeah, but I mean, downtown where all the tourists are, you have no problem. You can actually take your kids to a park, you have no problem. But here in Erie?
I was just down here for a seminar here, I think last year, and she said she enjoyed the downtown Chicago.
Who said that?
My daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's pleasant. Now, that's a big city. Now, if anybody's going to have problems.
And with everything going on in Chicago, I've been there myself.
Yeah.
I liked it. I
Well,
mean, it is
there,
nice.
there are problems, okay?
Every
But
city has
one thing
problems.
about downtown, if you're downtown on Michigan,
Yeah.
along Wacker Drive, all
Grant
of them.
Park and all that.
Yeah, I mean, you're a tourist, you don't have to worry as much, okay?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal, because if you're spending a couple $100 on a hotel room,
Yeah.
and you're going to the museums, the last thing you want to do is get,
Yeah. Yeah.
But here, people tell me they can't even sit in the park.
No.
Well, I'll get off the line. I think I'm going to call cable. Maybe I'll subscribe to NFL.
There you go.
Well, you got to call DirecTV, right?
No, I'm not. I'm calling Spectrum. They have their NFL network.
Oh, you don't have it.
No,
No, it's not on the basic.
they jump
package.
around.
Yeah, they screwed me.
they
I had I made the mistake. I wanted more internet because my wife did.
And you went to Spectrum.
Well, they took me off of Time Warner,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I found out I don't have the NFL channel.
Yeah, I know. It's.
And you know what? You can't add it.
You'd have to upgrade it and pay more.
Yeah, they only got three levels.
Oh, do they?
How about getting screwed? They got like bronze, silver, and platinum
Yeah.
or whatever.
And it's all
So what do you
flat.
got, John? You got John?
I pick it up on a different channel. I have one that isn't on the cable. I got a shooter.
Oh, okay. But see, the trouble with I got the
Out of Canada.
middle level of spectrum.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and to
like
go-
on channel 82.
But to go to the next level, they want $10 or $20 more a month.
Yeah, and you cannot get the games that are blacked out either.
No, and what I liked about Time Warner was if you wanted like a sports package,
You just get it for the time of the sports and you're done.
Yeah, it cost you maybe $5, but that was worth it, you know. You got like 5 or 6 channels.
I pay for the baseball ticket.
Spectrum, you're in the middle of a movie and bang, they're gone.
I have Spectrum, and you can get the Major League Baseball, because I pay for the Major League Baseball. It costs me $200.
Really?
Yeah, it
You
costs.
like it?
I love it. $50 a month.
But
I
see,
mean,
like in football, I basically watch 2 teams.
I would-
Baseball, baseball won.
Kaz, I would never in a million years pay for the NFL ticket. That's 1 day a week.
Here's what I buy. John, you ready for this?
I'm listening.
You got, this is tough to do though. Because of my job, I don't always get to watch games on Sunday.
You tape them all.
No, well, you can't tape what's not on there.
But true.
So I'm, being a Cleveland fan, or being a Pittsburgh fan, or being a Buffalo fan, you don't get every game.
So you gotta go to the saloon.
So if you don't, but if you don't have the only way to get all the games is you gotta be on DirecTV.
Yeah.
Or you gotta be a student or a renter that can't get it, and they give you an exemption, okay?
Yeah.
So what I did, I bought what they call the NFL Game Pass. Now, there's a bad part to it. It's only $100 a year.
Yeah.
You get every game,
Okay.
but you have to wait till midnight to do it,
Why?
because it's not the NFL ticket.
Oh, I see.
So at midnight, all the games are on there. If you can stay away from people bothering you,
Yeah, right.
or you're out of town, at midnight or anytime during it's on there. You got like 5 years worth of
Browns.
games going back, and you get every game that was on there.
Talk about a waste of film.
Well, that's just like the Erie Times paper.
Yeah.
You want to get the night score, you wait 2 days and you'll have it.
But here's the problem, John. You can't beat the NFL. If you don't have the DirecTV package, you can't watch the games unless you got a way of getting around
I
it.
think that the NFL ticket is kind of a waste of money, because
But see, like
1 day.
like baseball, you have the opportunity. Like if you're an Indian fan or a Pirate fan,
Yeah,
you can watch the games. You can watch the replays of the games, even,
Yeah.
right?
right.
With the NFL, if it's on Sunday and you miss it, you got to watch the NFL channel.
I
or,
like the Cubs, so
Yeah.
they're never on here. So
No, you're right, and I could see your point, John.
And the baseball ticket, I have baseball. I love baseball. I have baseball
But you're
all day, all night. Go ahead.
See, I tried to get a la carte, John, but they won't let us do it. Like, how about letting us buy, like John is a Giant fan.
Yeah,
Okay, if he wants to just buy the Giant package,
I think you can.
no, I with the NFL.
Oh, with baseball you can.
The NFL's got this,
Oh, they're
They got
gonna
you holding.
racket. They got a racket.
So I mean, what you asked me why I go to the NFL Game Pass?
Uh-huh.
Because look, I'm not going to be able to see both Buffalo and Cleveland on TV.
Yeah.
But I can also watch one of the other, like say there's a weird snow game I want to watch or some, some game that had some.
Yeah. Speaking of sports, I went up there and donated an Andrew Jackson up to the casino already.
Oh,
was
you
a-
did?
yeah.
You didn't make out too well?
No, I went the day it was the grand opening, and I was on the news. They interviewed me on the news, and I was one of the first ones that I think it was the first one actually to place a bet, legal sports book bet at the Erie Casino.
Yeah.
Just didn't go too good. I took a parlay, and I'm Titans. I like Titans, so I bet on Tennessee.
Yeah.
They covered.
Can you bet on single, John?
Yeah. You can
What,
bet.
what's the deal there, though?
Listen, you can bet. I was stunned. You can bet on a soccer match in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, any
But
sport.
Niagara Falls has the best one.
How's that?
I was up there one time, and you can't make this stuff up. They had a thing about predicting which color sweatshirt the pitcher was going to wear.
Oh no, they don't have that.
No, I mean, you could bet it. Hey,
Yeah.
honestly, God, John, they had stuff on there that I said, this is
Yeah.
sport betting at its best. It said, what are the odds that the pitcher comes out
Oh yeah.
with a red,
They, from what I saw up there, you can bet on anything. It's like a Vegas type of.
well,
sports book.
in England, the Premier League,
Yeah.
which is, I follow that with, I'm a Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
And it's funny, they don't make any bones about it.
Yeah.
I mean, in England, they even give the odds.
Well,
you know,
you can bet on anything.
Yeah, I mean, they've done it for
That,
years.
You can bet on cricket.
But you didn't have to go to Vegas. You could, around the whole country. They got this thing about people you know, openly bet on soccer.
Yeah, I mean, you have these little, what you do is they're kiosks.
Yeah.
You know, you put your, it's like a slot machine, you put your cash in, you pick your sport, and then
What's the minimum bet on it?
anything, $1, you could bet $1 on something.
So you got, is it 4 as a parlay or 5?
Well, I bet a 2-team parlay.
Oh, you can do a 2-teamer.
Oh, yeah.
Is it more expensive for a single?
No, you can bet whatever you wanna bet. You know, you can, but, you know, heck, it's hard to win one game, let alone parlays.
I don't, you know, I always said I was one that was pushing for this.
Yeah,
Because I think I have a better chance
yeah.
than pushing the slot machine. I mean, it's my deal, okay?
Oh, I'd rather have sports book any day of the week.
I mean, I didn't do, when it was illegal, I
One
didn't.
thing I was a little,
I can remember, you know, when it was illegal,
you know, I was hanging out.
people were doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the bookies are bumming. But, when I was up there, I was talking with Louis Lips was up there, Omar Marino,
I would only talk to Hanford.
he was there. I talked to him.
Head dog.
And I talked to Omar Marino, and we were talking about the '79 World Series, and
He was up there too?
yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was talking how great Willie Stargell, what a great guy he was, and how they came back. Well, actually, I brought it up to him. They were down 3-1, and then they won 2 games in Baltimore to win it, which nobody had done it up to that point. And
Yeah.
there was another. Jason Grilly was there.
They were worried for years about gambling, but you know what? People have been gambling for
Are you
years.
kidding? They've been doing that out of all of it.
Nobody remembers the only 2 guys, very few of them, John will probably remember. There were 2 guys that were singled out for betting on their own team.
Pete Rose.
No, football.
Oh, football.
One was the star of Blazing Saddles,
Not Bradshaw.
Mongo,
Oh, okay.
Alex Karras.
Yeah.
And the other one was
Say that.
the Golden Boy, Paul Horning.
Oh, he did bet on the Packers.
Well, the story was they bet on their own teams.
I don't care if they bet on their own team, just don't bet.
But the
against.
NFL made a decision. I can't remember if they got a 1-year suspension or.
Yeah.
And then Pete Rose, he was in baseball. But it's been, I mean, if you go back to what they called the Black Sox scandal,
Yeah.
you know what that was all about, right?
Cheating.
Was they didn't pay the guys much.
Shoeless.
So it was the White Sox way back in the 20s, I think.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, and they didn't get paid an awful lot of money, so
Did you see
the
that?
gamblers approached them and they threw the games.
Did you see that they're going to be playing a regular season game at the Field of Dreams?
That's got to be great, doesn't it?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You know, building a temporary place.
Yeah.
It's got to be even though it's only the movie place.
Yeah.
It's got to be magical that
Sure.
they're going to a little town in Iowa.
Yeah, for sure.
My wife went by there with her sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said they were pretty close to it, and they, I guess it fell into disrepair lately. The guy that was running it,
Yeah.
and so I think people have tried to take it over because even though it's just mythical,
Yeah.
there's something what's that? What do they say? If never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Right.
Because for a lot of people, it's just kind of like this is America.
Yeah,
Where
right.
is where dreams happen. Just like did Abner Doubleday invent baseball at Cooperstown? Nobody really knows. That's what's accepted, but but yeah, that'd be a magical story about sitting in the middle of a cornfield, watching 2 baseball teams play.
How about that idiot Antonio Brown? Not playing.
I don't get it.
He's a clown. Go ahead, caller.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi.
In case your callers are interested, on the ID channel, which in the city is channel 78, we're having that murder, that Christopher Leclerc murder. The guy took his wife out on a boat.
Oh yeah, that's on there
It's going to be on there, channel 58 at 10 o'clock.
tonight.
Yes.
I have to watch it. That's the one where she went on the boat and didn't come back.
Let me double check. Or maybe it's Wednesday. Let me double check here. Yeah, that's the guy that took his wife out on the boat.
Yeah. Well, we were on the news with the other one too.
Seen that about the fire.
So 58, channel 58 at 10 o'clock.
No, 78.
Oh, 78. Sorry about that.
Wednesday night at 10.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Okay?
Because we had that other famous case, Pizza Mart, yeah, that was on TV.
Oh, that's on a Netflix movie.
Yeah, that's making it now this.
Yeah, right.
Okie dokie.
Hey,
Thanks,
you know,
Tom.
sir, I was just talking with somebody from central Pennsylvania who said, they were talking about, how the country's over cameraed and everything, and I said, it was the cameras of the Border Patrol that, caused a lot of this. So there was some good that came out of it,
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Hey, have a good day.
Like, do you want to talk about the fire? Feel free.
No, I'm just watching the Yankee game right now.
Well, that's more important. You better watch it. Have a good day.
Baseball,
He's watching the baseball ticket.
when I was a kid, baseball was the biggest game in town.
I love baseball. I'd rather watch baseball ticket. You got baseball every day.
Yeah.
And at night, even
You know what I've been trying to find? I can't find one.
the Brown Super
No,
Bowl.
a rebroadcast of, you remember Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese?
Are you kidding me? I'm not that old.
Well, those of us that are that age, I'd love to get a hold of a broadcast. I tried to look it up on the internet. He was a classic. His language was horrendous, not dirty, just horrendous.
Right.
He had terms like he slud, he did this, and
Yeah.
he perspitated, and I said, what? It'd be great, this guy reminded me of old time baseball.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love baseball. High school football is going to be right around the corner.
Well, you know what? When you have tragedies, sports takes your mind off it. But
Yeah, it does.
this is going to be a tough one. I really.
It is. Well, they're already, Country Fair is already kicking in coffee money for
Lawrence Park did.
the fund, they're starting.
And Hammett, I
to
heard,
fund that
because the grandmother was a longtime employee,
there. Uh-huh.
they have, I think they have directed all the funds on Erie Giving.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I said, but at the end of the day, nothing brings back those kids.
No, it's really sad.
That, I couldn't imagine losing one of my kids, but to have all of them gone at
I
one
was
time.
listening to the talk radio show today.
Yeah.
Scott Brendel, it was a sad day today. And it was really sad that went down.
My wife said Lisa Adams was almost crying, was crying.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
It's that emotional that.
Just listening to it, when I was listening to it on the scanner, you could just tell that it was.
You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember you have to be a little bit, you might remember this. There used to be a kind of I don't want to call it a flop house hotel, but there was one on 13th Street behind the post office. Okay? It was across the street from DACA Paper, or the Metropolitan Club, whatever you want to call it. And they had a fire there when I was working in that area, and it was bad. It was, I don't remember how many deaths were there, but it brought to light that, these old buildings like that were, you had a lot of people living in this building.
I'm surprised that, you could see on some of the pictures, the house next door to it melted a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, I mean, those houses in that block are boom.
I gotta tell you, we had a fire when I lived on 22nd Street. You never forget this. My landlord was pounding on the door,
Yeah.
and he says, wake up, get out of the house. And I look and I said, geez, it's awful bright. And I look out the window, and the house next door to me is up in flames.
Right.
And my landlord's got his fire hose out. I mean, his garden hose.
Right.
And, there was a couple of kids in there that one died, one lived. But, it's something that, when you see it the next morning, you go, how, you respect the job that the firemen do, because you could easily morph into something worse.
Right.
But, I've talked to firemen, and I know this is eating them. There's not a fireman that this hasn't affected.
Well, just today's one of those days where you wanna you got the little ones, give them a hug and
Yeah.
appreciate what you have as a family.
Yeah, these firemen, I imagine a lot of them are going home and hugging their kids, and, you know, cause it's not, you know, we think of them as men of iron and women of iron, but,
Yeah, you know, they were, the teenagers that were jumping off the roofs and stuff, I guess, you know, they were injured, but they're
Yeah.
alive,
and they tell me some of the neighbors pitched in, you know, which is, that's eerie, you know.
you know, just in the city, we appreciate, I'm sure they appreciate the guys from the volunteers from Mill Creek and Lawrence Park and everywhere coming to help us. And
And, you know,
I'm
maybe
sure
this is
we have their backs when they need.
maybe this is a clarion call to, hey, I mean, not that, when you look at it, you know, some of the suburbs are getting, maybe we should have a hard
fire.
look at a metropolitan department.
A countywide fire department.
Yeah, not, you know, keep politics out of it, however you wanna do
Good
it,
luck with that.
but, you know, they do it in other states, and, you know, thank God that the volunteers were willing to come in.
Oh, for sure.
Because what you said, look, that could have been a nasty night with two other fires.
They had, that night, there was 3 fires going on, and somebody had gotten hurt,
Yeah,
and they had nobody to go help them. It was an older,
and what would happen if they were covering us and now their neighborhoods are,
I think it was out there at Harbor Creek,
yeah,
at the old folks, so somebody was hurt bad, because they kept, you know, you could just tell, they kept calling, and, there was nobody to send, because there was so much stuff going on.
I think we need to, you know, not because of this, but someday in the near future, we need to really sit down and put all politics aside and just come up with a system, and the state needs to do this,
I mean,
that, you know, certain urban areas need to, you know,
I never sit there and listen to, Scanner, but I just happened to be listening at that time, and it was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so. With that being said, we gotta go, Kaz.
probably see you next week, right?
Yeah, we'll be all right, we'll be here, we'll talk
But,
about Erie Days
hey,
next week.
thank the callers,
Yep.
they all had some good ideas.
Yeah, it was a good show today, but, you know, it's a sad day, give the kids a hug later, so,
Very sad day.
yeah, whenever you're ready, Mike.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.